Okay. So some things from signals and systems class will be required for you. So what we'll do in the initial classes is we'll start to go through the basics of signals and systems. Whatever you have covered, we'll try to refresh it. And there are some topics which would it wouldn't have been possible for the faculty to cover because of the COVID situation. So we'll try to cover as much as possible, whatever is needed. So some things will be needed later on. So before the start of a new topic, if there are some prerequisites from the signals and systems class, then we will elaborate on that. Okay. So initially, just to get you refreshed with the class, what was there was like first thing that you saw here was you had signals, right? There were signals which were introduced to you, and there were systems, right? So in signals you had come across like continuous time, and there was something called as discrete time. All right. So this is what you will be required, because we will be dealing with signals quite often, and it will be mostly discrete time signals. Okay, continuous time signals will not be much of it won't be covered as much in this course. So but then the basics will be needed. Continuous time we are represented using the independent variable as t, right? So like x of t is a continuous time signal. The independent variable here is t, that is what is used, notation was used, and you use round brackets. The discrete time signal, for that the independent variable which was used was n, and you use square brackets, and it was x of n. So we have to be very careful. I want you guys to practice it. If it is a continuous time signal, use round brackets, and the independent variable will be t. If it's a discrete time signal, use square brackets, independent variable will be n. We dealt with LTI systems. Okay, there were different stable, all those systems were there, the definitions were there. So right now we will be like looking at LTI system, linear time invariant systems. Why we do that is it's easier to analyze LTI systems. When your analysis or when your relationship between the output and the input is linear, then the math becomes easier. Okay, we try to as much work in the linear the linear domain of the system. Okay, so now for example, what is linearity? When do you call a system linear or LTI? When it has to follow, it has to it has to actually when the system is linear and at the same time it is time invariant, then that system is called as LTI system, linear time invariant system. When is the system linear? For system to be linear, it has to follow these two principles, have to be like additivity and homogeneity. These have to be satisfied by the system. What are these? So let's additivity property is given as, I'll just do it using math. Okay, so now additivity is, if you have a system, let's say some system, okay, if your input is x of t and your output is let me deal in discrete time only, because we will be not anyway our systems are going to be in discrete time systems only. So let's say your input is x of n and you give it to a system, and the output generated by that system is y of n. Right? Okay, so that's the relation you have. So now let's say I give an input which is x1 of n, and it generates an output which is y1 of n. Okay, so x1 of n produces y1 of n. Okay, so same way I give an input which is x2 of n to the same system, and it generates an input which is y2 of n. Okay, so now if in the third case to the same system, if I give an input which is summation of x1 of n plus y1 of x2 of n, let me just do it only, plus x2 of n, the output if it is generated is summation of those individual outputs which would have been generated by those inputs y2 of n, then this particular system satisfies the additivity property. Okay, so the homogeneity is another property which has to be satisfied for you to call it a linear system. The homogeneity property says that if you scale the input by a factor a, the output also gets scaled by a factor a. If you scale the input by a factor b, the output also gets factored by or gets scaled by a factor b. So when you add ax1 of n plus bx2 of n, what you will get is ay2 of n plus ay1 of n plus by2 of n. So this particular system satisfies both these properties now. Both these properties are satisfied. So that's why this system can be safely said that it is a linear system. Clear? Okay. So now what is homogeneity? What is the time invariant property? Time invariant is, let's say there is a system which generates where the input is x of n and you get an output which is y of n. Okay, let's say the mathematical form of that system is, the system is defined as whatever you input, the relationship between the input and output satisfies a certain rule. The rule is like if I shift the input by a certain amount, n minus n0, right? If I shift the input by a certain amount, the output also gets shifted by the same amount. Okay, this particular system is called as time invariant system. That is, you provide an input, let's say the input is x of n, that particular input produces y of n. So let's be specific, let's say you give an input of x1 of n, you get an output which is y1 of n. Now what I do is that same x1 of n, I shift it by n0 samples, okay, time delayed, so that I input it to the system, and the output which is generated is a time delayed version of the output which would have been generated by x1 of n. So this particular system is time invariant system. A basic is like a identity system. Identity system is always given as y of n equal to x of n. This is an identity system. Okay, so let's look at the identity system where your y of n is equal to x of n. This is a classic example of a time invariant system. So what I'll do here is when I input x of n, I get y of n. Okay. Now if I shift the input by n minus n0, I will get an output which is y1 of n. Now that y1 of n is same as y of n minus n0, because if I do a shift of y of n minus n0, I get x of n minus n0, right? So this y1 of n is same as y of n minus n0, right? So that's why it's a time invariant system. The system is defined by using this particular mathematical form, y of n equal to x of n. Another example of a time, or an example of a time variant system, a classic example is y of n equal to n into x of n. So now in such a scenario, I have this x of n, I give it as an input to a system. Okay, so I give this as an input to a system and I get an output which is y of n. The relationship between the input and the output is given as y of n equal to n times x of n. So now what I'll do is I will generate a new input which is a shifted version of x of n. Okay, I shifted by n0 samples. So what I'll get is I'll get an output which I'll denote as using y1 of n, and the output will be x of n minus n0. Okay, n times x minus n0. Now, does this resemble the shifted version of the output which I had obtained when I had inputted x of n? Let's look at it. So if I shift y of this particular guy by n0 samples, the input that I should get is n minus n0 into x of n minus n0, right? So this is a shifted version of your output, but it does not resemble the output which is generated when you shift the inputs by n0. So that's why this is not equal. So this is a time variant system. Both these guys are not equal, right? So that's why this is a time variant system. Okay.